Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome, everybody, into the Overreaction Buffalo post-game show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, joined by my very good friend, Jerry Ostrowski, the Swiss Army knife, which, Jerry, I saw somebody tweet today. So the message is getting out to Bills Mafia and the world. Jerry Ostrowski is with me. You can find him at Ostrowski_Big O. And we're hoping to get John. John is in the car on the way to the hotel from the stadium. We left at the same time with about 3 minutes left in the game. I live in Hamburg. I tell people all the time that I get home in about 20 minutes. Nobody believes me. Here I am. Just so everybody. That's another thing, Jerry, that I was thinking about. Of all of the Bills Mafia content creator post-game shows, your boy is the only one of them that goes to the games and still does this.
I know.
I'm the guy.
I know.
It's me.
That's why our tagline should be built different. Because we're our whole me, John, and you, it's built different.
Built a little bit.
You go to games, get home to put this out so that everybody can listen and get a view of the game. But before we get into this unbelievable performance by the Buffalo Bills, I want to say one thing. I mean, I met John Fina back all the way in probably 1991. We met in the airport going to the combine. Was the first time we met. We were both kind of like, I don't know about that, dude. And in a turn of events, we end up being teammates for about 8-9 years.
Long time,
and I was so happy for him tonight because those types of things, John being named legend in the game and doing it, I don't think that the Bills understand how much that meant to John.
Yeah.
And just how excited he was. And the fact that John was always such a team dude. He was a tried and true team guy, blue collar guy, showed up every day, worked hard, he studied, he played hurt, he was reliable. And I always say, they're like, well, why did you ever play? You played every position. Why did you play left tackle? I was like, because Fina played there. And there was no way I was going to play for John Fina. And I was so happy for him because I don't know. It was not anywhere. I was smiling from ear to ear watching him before the game because they put it on Monday Night Football. It was on national television. And just the job he did and knowing what that meant to him, it was absolutely awesome. I actually felt like I was there with him because the relationship that we have.
It was a special day, and I am not an emotional person other than when it comes to my daughters. And it was just to see all of this happen, coming from where, I'm going to use, this is a horrible phrase, but when I found John on Twitter, meaning I was searching for Bills players and I found John's Twitter account, and kind of like, it was just more of I think it was a thing he was using for fundraising for the high school that his kids go to or went to. And just to see where it's culminated to now, and just when you hear John's story about, and I hate to speak for John's not with us, about feeling like he was run out on a rail from this town, from Buffalo, and just seeing what I saw today from the time that we got there, from the One Bills Live thing and the way that Steve Tasker was interacting with him and Brownie and the crew, and then just walking around in the various tailgates and people stopping and, oh my God, John Fina, we didn't get past the first tent after we left the studio, and people were like, gotta come do shots. It was unbelievable. And then just even down on the field when I got to experience that whole thing. And I told you off stage, one of the coolest moments, and I've got the video, I'll post it. One of the coolest moments of the day was we were coming down the tunnel to get ready for that whole pregame ceremony, the where would you rather be than right here, right now moment. And the players were leaving the field, and Alec Anderson, who wears number 70 for the Bills, saw John. John was in number 70 and stopped immediately and hugged him, and him and John hugged. And that was just a very it was just a cool moment. And I don't have words necessarily to describe it. I don't want to infer or put more into it than it was. It was just a really very cool moment to see Alec Anderson stop and hug John.
And real quick, because we're late and we want to get into this game and talk about what happened. But my final thing about that is what we talked about off air. That's one thing why I believe this team is really, really special.
Yeah.
They get it. They understand the Buffalo community. They understand the city of Buffalo. They understand the legacy. They understand the past, the present, and the future. And that's why this team, I think, is performing the way it is. It's one of the big reasons why. They get it.
Gotcha. And Mimi Fina, who is in the chat, John's daughter, said that Alec played at UCLA. Where's it at? I'm on the wrong screen.
I got it. I got it. Right
if
here.
you can throw it up, that'd be great. She said that Alec Anderson actually played with Bruno, John's son, at UCLA. So clearly he knows who John Fina is. So that just cements it, right? That drives the nail home that Alec Anderson absolutely in that moment knew what it meant, right? To see John coming down and you talked about it last year. You got to come down the tunnel last year, right? I think if I'm not mistaken. So you had a little bit of that feeling of like that nostalgia too. And yes, we are late. It's late on Monday night after this football game, and we've got to talk about this game. And I'm really interested and excited to hear your perspective because I didn't get to see a lot of it. I will say that the outcome of the game, because of that reason, sits with me much better than if it had gone maybe the opposite direction and I didn't catch as much of it as I'd like to, because you know how it is. They rush you around and you're here and there, and then you're like walking outside the stadium to get to your seats and everything else.
Right.
It is what it is. But I think for me, the Buffalo Bills host the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football Week 3. In a game that, by and large, a lot of Bills Mafia, they were talking about it on One Bills Live today. We've talked about it at length. Ed Oliver said, the last couple times we've played them, it's just been weird. Matchups, you talked about Peterson is a great head coach. They've got talent up and down that roster. Like, there's not really a moment or a spot on this roster where there isn't oh my gosh, that's a good football player. Like, they've got a good football team. And that's a team that right now, clearly the Jacksonville Jaguars are trying to discover who they are, because the Bills took them to the woodshed. They stomped a mud hole in their ass. And there's from go 5 touchdowns in the first half. Like, from go, they basically they curb stomped them in this football game.
I think there's a lot of things to take away from it. I think that this offense really has found itself. It uses mismatches and athleticism with some of these receivers and some of the running backs on defenses, especially a team like Jacksonville that plays a ton of man-to-man. They got a lot of looks they wanted because of athletic mismatches on who was covering who, plus the motion got them confused.
Yeah.
And of course, this team will continue to pound the rock. It is important for them to run the ball and stay in front of the chain, so to speak. 3rd and 6 or less and all of that. Extremely efficient. And Josh seems to see whatever Brady is telling him or teaching him. He really seems to see it. He understands the concepts of what's going on and very easily sees it. Now, tonight was the first night we've seen out of 3 games where some of the downfield stuff started becoming open because of the short game stuff. It was there. Cook had the drop. He should have caught that ball, but there were some big plays downfield. But all in all, just really, really efficient. And right now, this offensive line is playing at a tremendously high level.
Yeah.
You can see it across the board. McGovern has picked up that center spot, and he's playing really, really well. David Edwards is sufficient at that spot. Of course, we talk about Torrance all the time. He might miss some things here and there, but he's a physical presence. And the guy that's really impressing me is Spencer Brown. You can tell he's healthy from that back injury.
Yeah.
He is getting in the drive catch phase of his pass sets quickly with power, explosion, and playing to the level of the contract extension that he got this year. So offensively, just an efficient performance. Then you go to the defense, and I think that Louis Riddick said it best. This is an assignment defense. Everybody knows their assignments. They very, very rarely blow assignments. They might get beat physically every now and then, and that's what I talk about sometimes with the downhill running game on the inside of this defense. They might have some issues because of size, but they play their assignment. They keep everything in front of them, and they fly to the football. It is group tackling, and just an amazing performance tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when I look at what the parts, so I caught the game. I missed the first series. It's always weird for me, and I'm a seat snob. at this point. It's always weird for me to not sit in my seats in that stadium because I know what to look for. I know where I'm looking. I know what I'm keying on. Right. I understand. I know it's been since 1997, Jerry. Like I know where I know how the line feels, offensive and defensive, the trenches. I know how like so for me to be where we were, because we sat in two different places, the Bills obviously provided 2 tickets to the club, which we sat in, which was a corner end zone. They were great seats. And then we moved down. John was able to secure 2 other seats where we were literally underneath my seats. So like at one point, like we sat down there and I texted my dad. I was like, look down and to the right. And like, we're waving, right? We're waving at my dad and my uncle Jeff, who's a Bills historian. But it was still there's still a measure of I need to watch this game back 2 or 3 times, right, before I'm going to get a really good feel for kind of what happened. All that to say this, I apologize. To see Josh Allen embrace the underneath stuff the way that he did in this football game was a bit surreal for me. Josh Allen is the grip it and rip it for a golf. Let's use a golf term, right? Grip it and rip it. Like I can hit the ball really far. I have this problem. I'm gonna downswing as hard as I can possibly downswing, and it rarely goes the way that it should. And Josh Allen over and over again in this football game threw the ball to the flat, threw the ball within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Just took what the defense gave. We're going to play you in a too high shell because that's what Josh Allen has seen since 2020 because he's got a freaking cannon for an arm. And this was one of the very first games I've ever seen where he is just overly committed. You know what? I'm going to throw it here. I'm going to throw it there. I'm going to throw it here. I'm going to throw it there. 47 points later, Jerry. 47.
The beautiful thing about Josh Allen is this. You might be able to defend the play, but then can you defend him?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're constantly on as a defense playing the Bills right now. You're constantly in a bind,
right?
Because if we commit the players to stop the play, do we have enough players to rally to him? Now he had a couple of iffy passes before the Kincaid touchdown in the back of the end zone that were a little bit old school, Josh.
Yes.
I don't like the sugar high Josh term, but you know, they weren't bad. They were just a little bit iffy.
Sure.
And he put the ball at risk a little bit, but you watch the way he played. I mean, seriously, I mean, if you take away the passing game, then you got to try to defend him. And, you know, once again, he has over 35 yards rushing. I think he had close to 50.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that? As a D coordinator, it's got to drive you nuts. I've called the perfect play, but I can't stop him now.
Right.
And as long as he's doing that and not risking the football, now sometimes he's going to have to, depending upon scores, and we play some of these better teams. But seriously, it's got to drive you nuts as a coordinator playing against them.
Yes. So Josh Allen, the offense, 5 first half touchdowns, which I said earlier. Josh Allen accounted for 4 passing touchdowns in the first half. I know there's some commenters saying he did try to go over the top. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his willingness to find the flat, to look very Pat Mahomes-esque, right, over the last couple of years as far as what Pat Mahomes has tried to do with the football. Hey, you're going to take the deep and intermediate stuff away from me. I'm going to find the open receiver right here. And Josh, by and large, has been unwilling to do that. He's downfield. He's got the arm for it. Not that Pat Mahomes doesn't, but it puts the offense in a little bit of a bind. Go ahead.
Right. Listen to this, Joe. To back up what you're saying, Khalil Shakir, Cook, Kincaid, Johnson, Coleman, Samuel, Hollins, Valdez-Scantling, Knox, Davis.
It's crazy.
Every one of those players caught a football tonight.
Yep.
Every one of them.
Yep.
I think we can throw this whole panic about wide receiver number 1 out the window.
Everybody eats. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think that Brandon Beane has got enough praise with a football team in cap struggles, and this is what he's put together.
Yeah.
Under constraints of cap considerations, I don't think Brandon Beane gets enough credit either. This draft, he hit it out of the park.
Yep.
Plus the guys from last year. Some of those guys are starting in big roles. like Dorian Williams,
right?
And they're doing what they're doing. Who they played or who they haven't played, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I mean, this is a tremendously talented team, and you have to actually say on a budget.
And the guys that he brought in were the right guys. Matt Collins, right? Curtis Samuel.
What are they, Joe? They're good dudes.
They're just good. Yeah, good dudes. Good
They're
personalities.
not
Good character. Not problems. Good character. Good character. Good characters. Good character. And they can catch the football, right? Which is a problem the Buffalo Bills have had for the last several years. They've had a problem, and I don't care what anybody says. They've had a problem catching the football, so much so that last year they went out and got guys that could catch the football that had high percentage catch rates. One of them, Justin Shorter, isn't necessarily on this football team right now, but at the end of the day, he addressed the problem. To your point, can we pivot for just a second and talk about if Von Miller is really back, what it means to this defense? Good Lord, Jerry.
And we talked about this in the offseason leading up to the regular season. This is a guy that at 35 years of age, okay, we talk about his age, his advanced age. He's in the twilight of his career. We talk about him coming off the injury and all that. But when you take a guy like that and you don't have to play him 50 plays a game anymore, 60 plays a game, and he's playing 25 or 30,
right,
with the bag that he takes with him, meaning the skill with the study of the pass rush and the moves and everything else. I mean, 3 sacks in 3 games. Come on now. I mean, who honestly can step out, step across the line and claim that they went ahead and predicted that was going to happen?
Yeah, I'm standing next to John Fina when he gets his last sack of the game. I don't know how many he had in the game. Again, the first half was a little bit of a blur for me. I definitely caught the one in the second half. I'm standing next to John Fina, and John Fina's just like played professional football at left tackle for 11 years, right? And he's sitting there going, whoa. He's like, and then they show the replay, and he's like, as soon as he stepped outside and bent that corner, he's like, the angle changed and he had the guy beat, and it was over from there. Like,
he had one tackle, 1 sack.
1 tackle, 1 sack, right? So it's just
fine with me.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about 1 sack a game, that's 17. That's a pretty good season, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Stay on this pace. We're good.
I don't even need it now. Like, let's save some of it for the playoffs, right? Get after Pat Mahomes, which is what we saw him do when he was healthy. But the whole defense, AJ Epinesa showed up in this football game, right? I mean, it was just Jamarcus Ingram again showed up in this football game. Jamarcus Ingram had a sack. It's just everybody's eating on defense too, Jerry.
But to me, the most invaluable thing that happened tonight, was the Bills pulled their starters with 10 minutes to go in the game.
Yes,
and Grable, Van Pran Granger.
As soon as I saw him in the game, I was like, Jerry's smiling.
Solomon, who had a sack and he had the strip sack.
Solomon had a sack.
All the guys that were rookies and young guys that need time to get acclimated to the NFL game in the regular season were on that field for a number of snaps, getting invaluable experience. That, to me, tonight was the biggest story of this game. Besides the efficiency of this football team, the fact that our backups, those young guys we're going to have to rely on at one point or another, played a ton of snaps and got experience that they normally would never get, and that was a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. It was all in all, it was just a perfect night. It was a perfect football game for the Bills. It was a perfect night. I think at one point in time I saw Josh Allen's quarterback rating was like 142.6, which I believe is perfect.
After the first half, yes.
Yeah, after the first half. The ball he threw to Keon was coming at us. So where we were sitting at the time, it was coming at our corner of the end zone. And it was, as soon as he released it, like my eyes looked down, I saw Keon, and I'm screaming in the suite. I'm like, he's got him. And sure enough, it just feathered straight into Keon Coleman. It was nice to see that pass. The dude was on fire tonight. It was pretty incredible. Before I get to the stats, do you have anything else that you want to maybe expound upon?
No. I'm glad to look at the comments and not see anybody bitching about Bass. He made all of his kicks, which was good. So we got
other than the one extra point, right?
Yeah, which was blocked.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I missed that.
It was blocked. But anyway, no, I don't have anything else. Go to the stats, man.
So yeah, and again, and if any point in time you want to stop me in the middle of these, if something sticks out to you, that would be fine. So Josh Allen, I believe I looked at one point in time, his completion percentage was 76%, but I think he had a couple incomplete passes since then. Nope, still the same, 76. So Josh Allen was 23 of 30 for 263 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's 76%. He's at what, 74, 75 on the season, 74%, somewhere around there, which is relatively insane. Josh Allen rushing led the way, this is a surprising stat to me. 6 rushes for 44 yards. There was the one, it was in the second half where he took off and kind of went to his right and then slid right in front of the 2 defenders. And you could see by his face mask that it was up and he was chirping at the 2 guys. I can't imagine what he was saying, but it was this game's over. I'm not going to let you tackle me kind of moment, right? So James Cook, 11 rushes for 39 yards, 3.5 per carry with a touchdown. Ray Davis, 7 for 22, 3.1 with a touchdown. Ty Johnson, 3 for 18. Curtis Samuel had 1 rush, no yards. Mitchell Trubisky, 1 for -1. Again, 10 people caught footballs in this football game, led by Khalil Shakir, 6 for 72, 12-yard average with a touchdown. The 1 touchdown he had was great. James Cook, 4 for 48. Dalton Kincaid, 3 for 41. Ty Johnson, 3 for 28. Keon Coleman, 1 for 24 with a touchdown. There was somebody tweeted me later in the first half and was like, Keon Coleman hasn't been on the field. Do you know what's going on? And it's like, I have no idea. Not only, hang on a second. Not only do I not know what's going on because I haven't really been able to see much of the first half, but I also am not that connected to anybody in this organization to know what's going on. So what do you have a feel or what was?
Yeah, Sean McDermott was asking the post-game press conference why was Keon not playing. He said that Keon was benched for the first quarter due to being on time issues.
Oh, all right.
So that was a rookie lesson that he learned pretty quickly. So it said being on time issues is why he was benched for the first quarter.
Got it. All right. Well, there you go. Defensively, Dorian Williams led the way with 7 tackles with 3 assists. Cam Lewis, 5 for 3. Balin Spector had that ball that he knocked down in the end zone. It's just Cam Lewis, Balin Spector, Damar Hamlin with what a phenomenal emotional moment that was, right? Damar Hamlin intercepting that football. The crowd could feel it. It's just, I just don't know where to go when you look at these stats as far as just these names. Casey Toohill, right? Casey Toohill had a good football game.
Casey Toohill's a good player, and probably it's one of the guys, like when I was talking about Bean earlier, he's a guy that was brought in for depth at the end and for special teams play, and he is performing at a high level. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, guys on the cheap to bring in to help this team, and a guy like Toohill's a perfect example of that.
Got it. Buffalo Bills yards, 388 total yards in this football game. The Jaguars 239 passing yards. Buffalo had 266 to 147. Rushing yards 122 to 92 yards per play, 6.5 to 3.5. First downs, the Bills had 25. They were 6 of 11 on third down. Fourth down efficiency, 2 for 2. Total plays 60 to Jacksonville 68, which I think this is the 3rd game in a row that they've been outplayed, meaning that their opponent has had more plays in the game than they have. Sacks allowed, the Bills allowed 0. Josh Allen is going to wake up tomorrow morning after this football game and probably not be sore at all. Right?
No, not at all. I mean, once again, tremendous performance by the offensive line. One of the best. Usually you get a line that pass blocks better than they run block. These guys do both really, really well. That group of 5 should probably get a game ball tonight because, like you said, Josh Allen was clean in the pocket most of the night.
Yeah. So the stats, reflect, in my opinion, the game. I don't even know what else to say. It was a perfect Monday Night Football game as far as that goes. And I feel like there was an exercising of the demons that kind of happened as it pertains to just fluky Bills moments in recent history, going back to that 9-6 game where I was in Mexico for that football game, where it was like, who is this team and why are the Jaguars were horrible back then. And it's like, why can the Bills offense do nothing against this football team. But it was a really, really super good football game. Dude Awards. So for those of you that are used to this show, over the last several years, a lot of people do thumbs up, thumbs down, arrow up, arrow down. Here on the Overreaction postgame show, we do the Dude Awards, which basically means, dude, great job, good job, dude. So you got a Dude Award. I'm going to go first. Hopefully you have an idea of who your Dude Award is, but I'm literally going to stick with Josh Allen for me. Somebody put it in the comments a little bit ago that Josh's game leveled up. At least it felt that way in this contest, and that's what I feel too. If Josh can literally be patient, right? So the mistakes that he has made since he has taken his giant step in 2020 is getting impatient and feeling when the sledding isn't going the way that he wants, and it's like, I've got to hit a 22-yard strike, I've got to hit a 35-yard strike, I've got to hit a ball down the field. If he can just, you know what, I don't have to do any of that. I can get chunk plays by throwing the ball to the flat. I can get a chunk play by throwing the ball 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. So for me, if this is what we're going to see through the rest of this season, the amount of anticipation and excitement that I have is about to go through the roof. I know that it's a long season, and I know that this is not indicative of what the rest of the season is going to give us, but the hope that I have, right? So for me, my Dude Award goes to Josh Allen.
I actually have my Dude Award goes to 5 dudes, and that goes to Deion Dawkins, Edwards, McGovern, Torrance, and Brown. Tremendous game by that offensive line.
Yeah.
Kept Josh Allen clean in the pocket all night long. You look at the statistics and you talk about rushing yards. I mean, Josh leads the way with 44. You have Cook with 39 on only 11 carries. Of course, Davis comes in, does a good job. Johnson. And then you look at Josh Allen, 263 yards passing, just the 4 touchdowns by him, responsible for 5. Just tremendous play by that group up front. And I don't think I can stress enough, when you have an offensive line that allows your quarterback to sit back there and make plays and throw the ball, but then also, be the engine and the catalyst for a great running game, which I believe is still the reason why this Bills offense is so productive right now, is because of the way they're running the football. They're controlling the line of scrimmage. They're keeping defenses on their heels. This isn't a try to grasp plays out of a sack, and which one's going to work. There are concepts that they are going to based off the running game. And the funny thing is while they do like play action, and I saw some different play action tonight, it's still not a play action heavy offense, but it is an offense that will use play action for good. And that's all and it's all predicated upon that front 5, those offensive linemen. So my Dude Awards go to the 5 dudes up front, and I think they did a tremendous job.
Why don't you talk about John Fina's Dude Awards, which I have on the screen right now?
John Fina's Dude Awards go to Spector and Williams, and I would say that that's another great call, because you got Spector, who's a guy that is playing and filling in for Terrell Bernard, who many of us feel, or I at least feel, is the most important piece of that defense, and he hasn't missed a beat. And then you got Dorian Williams, who had to step up for Milano. We've got 2 all-pro linebackers, okay, two linebackers that are some of the best in the league, and they're not playing. And this defense is performing the way it is. And the guys filling in for him, Spector's a guy that's fought injuries and has had an injury problem for most of his career, but he's out there grinding, staying healthy, making plays. You talked about the swat in the end zone that knocked the touchdown pass away. Then Dorian Williams comes out, and what does he do? He's the leading tackler on the team, and flashes great pass coverage, which everybody believes is his weakness. But it might have been it, and I think it was at one time. Just because sometimes the mind and the feet don't mesh, right? And the mind seeing one thing, the feet are going another way. And Dorian kind of had that Tasmanian devil style of play for most of last year, and maybe a little bit in the beginning of the season, but he's starting to settle down. Why? Because he's seeing more live plays, and he's in the middle of it more. He's starting to trust what he sees. And so John Fina, he went with the 2 starting inside linebackers, which are the only 2 linebackers we have on this defense that start, because we run a 4-2-5, and Spector and Williams, and I think those guys are tremendous choices as well.
Before I get to the tweets, the Bills Mafia tweets, is there anything that you would like to tag on to anything we've talked about so far?
No, I think that I think Joe Esposito though says something that I agree with as well. And his dude goes to Sean McDermott. And I can't speak for Joe, but I will give my viewpoint on what he said. I think up until this year, McDermott's been a guy that's been kind of characterized or labeled as almost like a micromanager.
A little bit.
Or a control freak.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly. And for him to turn this offense and his defense over to two really young coordinators and sit back and manage the game. Hey, granted, I'm sure that behind those walls during the week, he does a lot of meetings with Bobby Babbage Jr., and they get together on a lot of different things. But when it comes to game time, he's not calling plays. Babbage is, and then he gave up his offense to a young guy in Joe Brady who's doing a tremendous job. So I can take him as a dude award too. And then probably the other dude that we could go with real quick, John Fina. Man, I think it just came down from one Bills drive that Fina has to be the legend of the game from here on out. If John's going to be legend of the game and they're going to perform that way, I think John should be there every weekend. So autographs on Saturdays at the BFLO store, and Fina for the legends of the game. So that's my dude as well.
It was a whirlwind of a weekend. Well, a Sunday and a Monday, that's for sure. And John flies home tomorrow morning at 7:00, I think his flight.
Good. I hope it's super early, and I hope he's super drunk.
He is not super drunk. I can confirm that. Confirm that he is not. Confirm that he is not.
Damn.
What a night. What an experience. So it was one for the books for me for sure. Jumping into the Bills Mafia tweets I put out on the Overreaction Twitter handle. Hey Bills Mafia, your Buffalo Bills have moved to 3-0 by curb stomping the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. How does this win have you feeling? Reading your tweets on the Overreaction postgame show at 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. A new one, Mike. Was it Mike AINAZ? I don't know how to pronounce that necessarily. Said bring on the Ravens, and I'm pretty good with that. So we'll see how that. I feel like we started the season, Jerry, very much like unsure. We don't know what to make of the defense. We don't know what to. But there was you knew what. Well, Sean McDermott makes good defenses, so no matter who he has, we know that they're going to be respectable. The offense, on the other hand, what is this? Everybody eats that. Where are we going to go with this? And now I'm at a point it's let's bring on the Ravens. And I feel like we still need to have a little bit of trepidation, right? The Ravens are a good football team, even though they love to give up big leads. They're a really good football team. But sorry, Robbie Snyder, Robbie actually came out and got an autograph from John Fina yesterday on Sunday night at the BFLO store. Feeling good that the Bills are 3-0, but most of all, I got to meet John Fina. Go Bills, he says. That's awesome. I wish I was in Buffalo. This is Saxa Dave. This is my guy over in Europe, in London. John Fina set the tone with his pregame speech. Never looked back in a stress-free revenge stomping. Definitely feeling like it's wildest dreams land. And by the way, for those of you listening that tweet, if you tweet #wildest dreams land, it gets retweeted automatically by me. So I've got t-shirts. That say wildest dreams land. If you want one, let me know.
Because don't you forget, this is still Joe's show. We're just lucky enough to be a part of it.
I feel the complete opposite. I feel especially after today, I'm just glad to be here. Just in case anybody's wondering, I'm glad to be here. Karen, #Let's Go Buffalo at Go Sabres Bills. They are a wagon, she says. Wildest Dreams is back with a vengeance. So apparently, we're gonna have to get rolling on this Wildest Dreams Land thing, Jerry. Richard Rush, my guy Double R, who is in the comment section. What more can you say? John Fina is the legend of the game, and we destroy the Jags. Maybe it's worth #Devara on September 27th. What does that mean? Devara on September 27th. Do you know what that means?
I have no idea.
Richard, you might have some splaining to do in the comment section. And then he says, Wildest Dreams Land, go Bills. So let's get a retweet. Scott D at KHAAZ Mick. So K has Mick. I just need 17 more of these this season. At John Fina delivered tonight. Yes, he did. My guy at Payton Carmen over in Tampa, Florida said, it is an overrated experience. He's got the GIF from Coming to America. James Earl Jones, who just recently passed away,
yes.
Actually. Bills Media 716, not bad for an overrated quarterback with no wide receivers. Go Bills. And then Carl Music says he's got the GIF that says to-do list, get the dub, and whoosh, scratches that off. Got the dub. So they got the dub. So
I will give this to you real quick from OptaStats. Our unicorn quarterback had another first in NFL history tonight.
Wait. Where's the picture? I gotta find the picture. Like only quarterback in NFL history. Like
Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills is the first quarterback in NFL history to complete 75% of his passes, throw for 4+ touchdowns, have no turnovers, take no sacks, and lead his team in rushing yards, all in the same game.
So you're telling me he's Superman?
I'm telling you he's overrated.
Without putting the cape on. So even when he's Clark Kent, because he was, I mean, I'm not saying that he was, this was not a holy crap Josh Allen game, was it? It was very much it wasn't pedestrian, but it was very much
like I said, the thing that was holy crap Josh Allen game to me was there's no way to defend him.
Right. But he just went out there and played football tonight.
You take the play away, he makes the play. He throws the pass. It's how do you defend it?
He was very slippery. That much is true. So there were times that the pass rush was getting there and Josh would just take a dip step. He'd be like, oh, nope, can't have me.
See, everybody calls him unicorn. I just wish that, like, the Jumbotron or the Bills social media people would pull the training day line of King Kong ain't got nothing on me and use that one.
King Kong ain't got, yeah, for sure. That's actually been on the Stars Network lately. I've been watching that. The one that was coming to me was from Tombstone when Wyatt Earp, Kurt Russell says, I'm not going to let you arrest me today. And this was very much a game where Josh Allen was like, I'm not going to let you sack me today. That's just kind of where we're like.
Where's Josh? You might want to check down by the creek. I think he's walking on water.
Walking on the water.
Have you ever seen anything like that, Doc? No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, we have we're at the point of just having fun with this, so which is freaking great. But before I get us out of here, any final thoughts? Any final comments?
John Fina has last comment. It says it was surgical. I figured John Fina's last comment of the night would be one more, please.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in and staying to play with us here on the Overreaction post-game show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe. What a football game! What a great experience, and it feels cool to be a part of the team, Jerry. John Fina getting that whole experience. I know you feel the same way. I feel the same way. Just he's one of us, right? So just I feel like I was the one leading the charge today, and I know you feel the same way. So it was a great day, great experience, great football game. Buffalo Bills have moved to 3-0. They're one of the few 3-0 football teams moving or heading into Baltimore next week to play the Ravens, I believe, on Sunday Night Football. Is that accurate?
Yes, on Sunday night. So this is our first true game, I believe, of the season. This is a real game.
Yeah, this is the real test as far as that goes. But appreciate you guys tuning in with us. What do we got? I don't know what the schedule is necessarily going to be this week. You will get an Off Tackle with John Fina show. You will get an On the Beat tomorrow. Actually, Tuesday, Dan Fates from Wham, Rochester Wham, is going to be with us, as well as Buffalo Plus. Humpty Hotline on Wednesday, and then the Big O show on Thursday. Although we're talking about moving some of that around. Have we landed on that? I mean, do you want
I think we'll go. I we'll talk about it a little bit more, but we might put the Big O show on Wednesdays. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and then have a second drop. So there might be two Big O. You might be getting a double dose, ladies and gentlemen. Might be getting a double dose of Big O show because there's enough Big O to go around. So, but yes, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I've drugged this on long enough. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon. For me, for John, for Jerry. Go Bills.
Much love. Go Bills.
Go Bills.